Hey everyone, and welcome back to another under $5 eShop deals video, where each and every week we go through the Nintendo Switch eShop, picking out some of the best games that are currently on sale, however, always staying under a budget of only $5. Meaning that even if you don't have a lot of cash, it doesn't mean you can't pick up some great games. Not only that, but this week in the main portion of the video, most of the games are going to be brand new to the series. So even if you've been watching for a little while, this is one you're not going to want to miss. And just before we jump into those deals, just a quick reminder for anyone who might be new here, about halfway through the video, I'm going to be giving away 2 $5 eShop gift cards. If you want to know how you can participate in those future giveaways, all you need to do is be subscribed to the channel and drop a comment down below in the video. If ever you want the full contest rules, it's in the description down below. Also, if by the end of the video you're still looking for other great deals, I'll also be linking last week's under $5 list, as well as the latest regular eShop deals, because most of the deals are still running and I just don't repeat them 2 videos in a row. Now with all of that stuff out of the way, let's not waste any more time, let's jump straight into the deals. Just remember, if you are liking the content, one of the best ways to help support the channel, just hit that like button. Now we're going to start off today's video with a brand new entry to the series, and that is Bit Orchard, the Animal Valley Deluxe Edition. That is 73% off, dropping it to only $1.99, and will be running all the way till June 3rd. Now you can probably already tell by the title, but yes, this is a farming/life sim. And as a quick comparison, I am going to say that it is like a more simplistic version of something like Stardew Valley. Not only that, but as you can probably already tell, it's using an awesome Game Boy-like aesthetic. Now when I tried out this game, I really wasn't expecting much, but I was actually surprised by how much you can actually do in the game. Obviously, it's not going to hit something like Stardew Valley, but still for a Game Boy simple game at only $2, it really has a lot to it. Now the main content of the game will probably last you somewhere around 3 to 4 hours. However, after that, you can keep working on your apple orchard for as long as you like. And it really is a great game to drop a few minutes in every day. And at only $2, if you're already a fan of farm sims or you've never tried one before and you want to start with a really simplistic one, this is a great place to start and definitely worth it at $2. Now next on today's list, we have Castle of Pixel Skulls. That is 60% off, also dropping to only $1.99, and this one running till June 1st. Now this is yet another game that I tried this week, and it's a very interesting precision platformer. Visually, it is very simple, using an awesome retro-like style, and it is offering 40 different levels of increasing challenge. And although I would say that some parts of this game are actually very difficult, what I would say makes it approachable to pretty much everyone is that it is very generous with the placement of its checkpoints. Meaning that as you progress your way through a level, even if you take a death, you'll only have to start from the last checkpoint, and theoretically you have an infinite number of lives. The actual biggest part of the challenge here is to try to complete the levels as fast as possible, and that's where a certain factor of replayability is going to come here, because once you know your way around the traps, you can actually try to redo the level and just get a better and better time. So if you're looking for a simple yet fun precision platformer for this week at only $2, this one is yet again definitely worth a pickup. Now next on our list of great deals, we have another new game to the series, and that is Conduct Together. That is 90% off, dropping the price to $1.99 yet again, and that will be running till June 2nd. Now when I picked this game up, on the surface I was a tiny bit unsure, because yes, it did look like the port of a mobile game, but once I got to playing it, it became extremely addictive and extremely fun. Your basic goal here is to deliver a certain number of passengers to their destination using trains that are crisscrossing each other over the tracks. Now depending on the level, you might have to control up to 4 trains at once, deciding on when they stop and start using each one of the controller's buttons. But not only that, you'll also have to control different switches on the tracks, which will change the direction of the trains using the direction buttons on the D-pad. Now trust me, after a couple of games, this will become a really addictive game that you're just going to want to have to keep trying to get those 3 stars and complete the level fast enough. And for $2, I would say that was already enough. But guess what? This can actually turn into a really awesome party game. Now up to 4 different players can join at once, and all can control the trains at the same time. It really can lead to some hilarious situations. Yet again, an awesome pickup at only $2. Now, our next great game on today's list is also a brand new entry, and that is Little Bug, that is now 84% off, dropping its price to only $1.99, and will be running till May 24th. Now, Little Bug is a 2D, I would say puzzle platformer would be the best way to describe it, where you have to control a little girl, but also her spirit guiding light. Now, the difficulty comes here by having to control both the light and the little girl at the same time, and using that light to tether herself to make your way around the different obstacles. Now, although at the beginning there will be a slight learning curve, once you get it down, you can pull off some actually pretty awesome maneuvers. Not only that, but I really love the visuals of this game and the overall aura that it emits that is like a mix of spookiness with a little bit of warmth. Now, yet again, this is another game that will only take, I would say, a few hours to complete. However, when you do, there's an awesome payoff because the storyline really has a heart-touching ending to it. And although they're not going for the exact same horror type environment, the pacing behind this game did remind me a lot of something like Limbo. But overall, yet again, for $2, this is an amazing pickup for this week. Now guess what? Our next entry is yet again a brand new one, and that is Smashroom, that is now 80% off, dropping it to $1.99 and running till June 2nd. Now for this game, we have another 2D puzzle platformer, although this one with a much more traditional overall gameplay style. At least traditional in its overall gameplay style, but not necessarily in its mechanics. Now you're playing as a human that's been turned into a mushroom and has to make his way and destroy all the mold that is invading the world. Now to do that, you're going to be using your innate explosive ability in a lot of different ways throughout the whole game. Now yet again, I really loved the art style here. It's almost like a mix of pixel art with a little bit of watercolor. Now I do want to warn you control-wise that there was a little bit of floatiness and I would have rather it be a little bit tighter, but overall, nonetheless, I really did end up enjoying the gameplay. There were also a few really interesting boss fights. So if you're looking for a more traditionally styled puzzle platformer for this week and you only want to invest $2, well guess what? Smashroom could be an excellent pickup. So now it's time to take a quick break and announce today's winners of the $5 eShop gift cards. And our first winner will be Kufel, who said, "Goblin Sword game is actually great for the price. It was on sale, I picked it up, and I'm enjoying it." And you are right, Kufel, Goblin Sword is a great game when you can get it at only $2, and I'm really glad you're enjoying it. And our second winner for today is going to be Games for Human People, who said, "Grapple Dog is very fun and even better at that price." And number one, great name. Number two, you're right, Grapple Dog is just a great pickup at any price. So now all you need to do to claim your $5 eShop gift cards is reach out to me in my pinned comment down below. So now if we jump straight back into our deals, our next one is going to be on Super Cyborg. And I said it in the regular eShop deals that I would cheat this week and put this game in both lists just because it's such an amazing pickup. And it is now 43% off, dropping it to only $3.98 and will be running till June 1st. Now Super Cyborg, first of all, is a game I fully reviewed on the channel and I gave it a 9 out of 10. It is just an awesome retro-styled run-and-gun shooter that resembles very much something from the Contra series. And it is the perfect example that sometimes to make a great game, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to refine sometimes some of the great gameplay concepts that are already out there. Now, as I said in the previous video, I will give the warning here, this is a very challenging game. However, at the same time, there are some modern improvements that does make it more approachable to newcomers to the genre, such as infinite continues and the ability to save your progress, meaning this isn't a game that you have to complete in just one sitting. But overall, if you're a fan of retro run-and-gun shooters, if you're a fan of the Contra series, as I said earlier this week, this is a must-have in your collection. Now next on our list of games for today is yet a brand new one to the series, and that is Chefy-Chef, that is at its lowest ever price of 20% off, dropping it to $3.99 and will be running till May 27th. Now yet again here, we have another game that I fully reviewed on the channel, and I actually dropped this review just a couple of days ago. And yet again, we have another 2D action platformer, although this one with a pretty original setup where each and every level is like a micro Metroidvania. Basically, at the beginning of each level, you lose all your abilities and you have to discover them yet again, which will then lead you to finding your 3 ingredients and the exit to the level. Now this game also offers 60 levels, which will easily take you at least 3 to 5 hours to complete, and on top of it, there's also secret unlockables to modify your appearance. Overall, in my review, this was already an easy recommendation for me at $4.99, so right now today at $3.99, it just makes it easier to suggest. Now the next game on our list might not be a brand new one to the series, but it is nonetheless one of my favorite games currently. That is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, that is back to 67% off, only $4.89, and will be running till June 2nd. On top of it, this game once again will be my pick of the week. Now this game is starting to need little to no introduction, but it is basically a 2D side-scrolling brawler that has a very retro style to it. And it is also based off of the visual novels of the same name, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, that a lot of people know also from the movie that came out later. Now seriously, even at its full price of $15, this game is an easy recommendation to anyone who's a fan of 2D fighters. I even paid for the collector's edition from Limited Run Games that easily cost me over $60. It's basically offering everything you need from a 2D beat 'em up. A cast of characters that each play differently and offer a great level of replayability, and on top, a co-op mode where you can play up to 4 players together. The one and only warning that I give here is I did stream this game and a lot of people hadn't picked up on how the leveling system works in this game. So if ever you do decide to pick it up, I strongly recommend you look into that because the game doesn't really handhold you through any of it. In the end, if you don't know what to pick up for this week and you want to give something a try at under $5, this is just a no-brainer pickup. Now the next game on our list is actually going to be yet again a brand new entry, and that is Dungeons and Puzzles. That is now 50% off, dropping it to $4.99, and will be running till May 26th. Now Dungeons and Puzzles is ultimately a puzzle game. Yes, it is in a dungeon crawler format visually, but ultimately this is a true puzzle game. You play as a knight who can only move in straight lines, and basically only stops his movement when he reaches an obstacle. Your goal in pretty much each level is to eliminate each one of the enemies and then make it to the exit. Now, although this is a very simple setup, what really adds flair to the game and really makes the puzzles very challenging is the abilities you'll get as you move your way through the game, such as a bow and arrow that will not only allow you to eliminate your enemies, but also stop yourself on where the arrow falls. Now, the only warning I'm going to give here has to do with what I already said. Before picking this game up, make sure you're into puzzle games, because if you're just into dungeon crawling games, this is not a game for you. It is really centered around puzzling. But if you are into puzzle games, at only $4.99, you get a really complete and challenging one here. Yet again, this is a really nice pickup for this week. Now, our next game is another dungeon game, but this one is called Dungeons of Dreadrock. And it is also 50% off, dropping its price to $5 and will be running till May 27th. Now, first of all, I want to thank Ricardo Luna. He's the one who suggested I try this game out for this week, and I'm really glad he did. Number 2, it's actually this game that also led me to the previous one, Dungeons and Puzzles. But ultimately, yet again, we have a dungeon crawling game that does have a lot of puzzle elements. However, if the previous game was solely a puzzle game, this one is much closer to a blend of the two types. And it actually resembles the gameplay a lot more in the tile-based dungeon crawlers that we used to know from PC games in the 80s and 90s. Now, the only thing I do want to mention here, sort of like the previous game, is although this one is slightly more action-paced, there is nonetheless a huge puzzle aspect to getting through these dungeons. Also, on a side note, unfortunately, you cannot use a Pro controller to play this game, so if you do want to play it in dock mode, you're going to have to detach your Joy-Cons. But honestly, for these simple controls in this game, using a Joy-Con really wasn't an issue for me, even when I did end up playing it sometimes in dock mode. But ultimately, if you are into a blend of a puzzler / dungeon crawler, Dungeons of Dreadrock at $5, offering over 100 levels, is really a great pickup. So now it's time for this week's Sizzle Reel of Deals with 15 other great games to consider. So we're now at the end of another under $5 eShop deals video, and I really want to hear from all of you. I've put a lot of time in lately finding new titles for the series, so I want to know what games are you picking up and are you enjoying them? Also, I really want to thank my channel supporters. Their monthly support is so appreciated, and if you ever want to check out all their names, they're available on the end screen. And don't forget, on the way out, hit that like button to support the channel, subscribe if you aren't already, click the notification bell so you know when all my future content comes out, and as usual, I hope I'll see you in my next video.